Hi, I'm Tommy.
And I'm Ads, and this week on Red Wine, we're going to be talking about what's happened to Val Kilmer's face.
Well, I wrote a note, which was, is Val Kilmer wearing a rubber Donald Trump mask?
Something's gone wrong.
Or is Donald Trump now wearing a rubber Val Kilmer mask?
Maybe it was a post-credit sting that I didn't stick around for. This week on Red Wine, we're going to be talking about The Snowman, starring Michael Fassbender.
Yeah.
Talk to me about The Snowman.
I mean, I'd much rather talk to you about The Snowman featuring Ala Jones.
Well, it's battling for the SEO on that.
It's not a remake of the Raymond Briggs Snowman. It would probably be a better film if it was.
It is a Scandi detective thriller in which Michael Fassbender plays a grizzled detective who has to track down the Snowman killer, who seems to be murdering people all around Norway and then leaving a snowman by the corpse.
And can I say murdering not that many people and building not that many snowmen, considering that's the title of the film?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the first murder in the main plot, because it does jump about, the first murder takes place, what, like 45 minutes into the film? Something like that? It takes quite a while to get going.
Yeah. I feel like the whole gimmick of this serial killer that builds a snowman first, and it's outside your house and it's this ominous symbol that you're next. That's very much how the trailers showed it. Yeah. So it was lots of people in this community that were all aware that this snowman killer's out there, and then when a snowman mysteriously appears, they would then be very scared. Yeah. That isn't at all what happens.
No, and almost most of the snowmen in the film don't even get seen by anyone other than the audience.
No.
Which makes it an entirely irrelevant plot device.
It thematically doesn't tie into why the killings are happening. Like, it wasn't that someone kicked over a snowman. It has a very tenuous link.
So that was one of my main sort of takeaways, was that given it's the title of the film, and I hadn't read the book, but the title of the book, and as you say, it's kind of the gimmick of the killings. Its reasoning for being there is almost nothing at all.
No, it's there for the poster or the trailer.
Yeah, because I have to get into spoiler territories, but the killer was kind of a young boy who was traumatised, and he saw his mum die and I guess commit suicide, and then his dad just leave him.
Yeah, I'm not even sure that's a spoiler. That is the opening scene.
Yeah, okay, fine. But what is a spoiler is the reason that he uses snowmen as his kind of calling card is because he had happened to have built a snowman on the day that happened.
That could almost be the toothbrushing killer.
Yeah, the socks killer.
I had Rice Krispies for breakfast killer.
Yeah.
The fact is, the snowman gimmick and the idea that he kills when the snow falls, which is a ridiculous plot point that I think I'll get to again in a minute. I think we both got it written down.
Snow falls, yeah. In Norway, happens quite a lot. Probably.
Absolutely ridiculous. How would you even make that connection? So one of the characters says, one thing I've noticed between these 3 killings is that it snowed on every day. Yeah. Now that is not a line any good policeman would join up in Norway in the winter.
Get laughed out of the room, wouldn't you?
I mean, Michael Fassbender's character, Harry Hole, actually says, oh, but it is winter. Yeah, and it's Oslo, and what are you talking about?
I think we maybe are coming at this from the same point where we weren't massive fans of this film.
I actually thought it was a bit of a disaster. I thought this idea of the snowman and the killer that kills when the snow falls was inherently stupid, but might be quite fun in a kind of silly... Like, if they'd played up on that tension of everyone in this tiny little community all knows that there's this killer, he only kills when the snow falls. Silly setup. But then it might be, there's no killings for months because it's been the summer and everyone kind of relaxes and there's someone who knows they're next on the list. And then the day that the snow starts falling, and the strings start, and it's like, oh my God, now the snowman killer's going to return in a really stupid kind of Saw way. Yeah. But at least there would have been fun to have. My problem is, with this film, there's no fun to be had at all. I don't know what is good about this film at all from an entertainment point of view.
I guess my main thing of it was, because like I said, I haven't read the book. I don't think you haven't read the book.
I've not read the book, no.
Going in, I think almost immediately, or in the first 10-15 minutes, you can just tell that it's a film that has been condensed from a book rather than written for the screen. And it's massively to its detriment because there's so many things that just don't make any sense in it. I also thought, I've never seen a film try quite so hard to be a David Fincher film in my life and then kind of come up so short, or just like Scandi, Girl with Dragon Tattoo, or like Gone Girl, Seven kind of look about it, and just it had that look, and a weak soundtrack, and then a weak plot, and it mashed together into just nonsense that was so forgettable as a film.
Even the look for me suffered. I've been looking at going on holiday to Norway, and Norway still looks pretty amazing, and I'd still love to go, and it's hard to make Norway look bad. But there was no real sense of atmosphere, of cold, of being isolated, of being in this dark, cold community where bad things are happening, which I think is really surprising, because this guy directed Let the Right One In, which totally nails that atmosphere.
It's great.
Really good. And the best thing about that film is the atmosphere. This film, to me, had no atmosphere. It was just flat shots of Michael Fassbender, who's a flat character.
Yeah.
He had no character other than he couldn't sleep.
But they didn't even go hard enough on that, because at the start you see him like waking up in a park. And I thought, okay, he's got a weird thing where he has a house, but he sleeps on the street for some compelling reason. No, it wasn't that either. It was just because he's drunk, and then he had a relationship with his ex-girlfriend's son that was interesting to a point, but yeah, there wasn't much about him as a person.
And I think this film needed either interesting characters, an interesting, mysterious, twisty plot, or preferably, as Dragon Tattoo did, both of those things. This is like a sub-Jonathan Creek plot. Yeah, and actually, that's harsh on Jonathan Creek.
Mega spoilers now. The killer turns out to be the doctor, new boyfriend of Michael Fassbender's ex-girlfriend. And there is a scene in the middle of the film where he and Michael Fassbender are on a train together. And in that scene, it's so obviously apparent that he is the killer that I was almost expecting there to be another twist after that to show that he wasn't the killer. It was so obvious. Screenwriting 101 should say to you, don't have that scene or water that down or film it differently if it's in the book. I don't know, but did you feel the same about that? Yeah,
definitely. And also dropping in those details, you know, I'm at this conference about this. I was like, well, you wouldn't be telling us those details if that wasn't going to be a part of some revelation later.
Well, I think anyone in a film who says they are going to a conference, it's just they're not going to a conference. How many times has that happened in a film? I've got to go to this conference.
That's
I'm lying.
Point. Has there ever just been someone who attends?
No one has ever just gone to a conference they say they're going to.
Yeah.
I don't think conferences exist. Have you been to a conference?
I've been to some.
You're a fucking murderer.
I must be a murderer. What this was to me was basically a very, very poor attempt at making a Luther episode, but without any of the things that make Luther fun, which is a silly, over-the-top mystery, but quite well handled, and a really charismatic, interesting lead character that you just want to watch. Michael Fassbender could be that character. Michael Fassbender is a great actor, but in this, he's got nothing to do. It is totally flat, and I got to say that's all down to the script and possibly the direction.
Because also with Luther, that is again a very tropey, done and done character, but that is compelling, and it's not just Idris Elba that makes him compelling in that. You know, so you can have the grizzled detective, and it's how many books and films come out where you can show you can keep doing that better than this. I had another main problem with actually just the central sort of plot and reasoning for the killings didn't seem to make any sense to me on two levels. One was that he was murdering people for getting too close to figuring out who he was. And yet he was murdering people in a really public, come and look at me, I'm a serial killer way. Yeah. And those two things are kind of at odds. Like, you either go, I'm a serial killer, ha ha ha,
nutty room,
or you go, I'm secretly killing people, and I'll get you if you get too close to figuring out who I am. And those two things massively crossed over and didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And the other side of it was the whole motive, full stop, for him murdering people was women who did something. I couldn't.
Yeah, women who didn't want their children. So it's women that had abortions or had left their children.
Which, fine. But then it was revealed right near the end that his end game with the central kind of family wasn't the woman, it was the kid. He had a picture of the kid, and he's like, I'm after the kid. It's never been about you.
Yeah.
And I was like, but why the kid? What's he done?
Yeah.
He's just like you.
Yeah, and that's handled really clumsily, and it's a delicate subject as well. And I think, again, to compare it with Girl with Dragon Tattoo, the original Swedish translation was Women Who Hate Men, and that is what Girl with the Dragon Tattoo is about. And so is this. but in a way that just seems so much more exploitative. There's no real strong female characters in it. The one character who I thought would be the strong female character, massive spoiler, gets killed in a really uneventful, totally pointless and anticlimactic way.
Off screen.
Off screen. I didn't even totally realise she was dead when they found the body.
So that scene, she's in a hotel room because she thinks it's one of the red herring guys who is the killer. She waits for him in a hotel room, but the actual killer comes and gets her, cuts her finger off, and then somehow gets her out of that building without any discovery, and it's all comes to nothing. And I was like,
yeah.
What was that? Did I miss something, or was that just like a totally implausible little scene that didn't make any sense?
Because on one hand, they try and show this film as being set in the real world with real forensic scientists, you know, that are doing blood spatter tests and, you know, ballistics and that kind of thing. Yet, I think any competent forensic scientist would have probably just nailed this case from the first murder. It is just not a viable plan that this guy has.
So at the very end, like they're in that cabin, and he has the ex-girlfriend and the kid tied up, and then Fassbender comes in. His leverage is, I'm going to kill this woman. Even if he then did that, then what's his end game then? Like, he's going to get stopped. Over all of the other flaws, that's probably my main problem, is you can tell that this has been condensed down to a film rather than something that's written as a film.
I just think that there was no real compelling reason to watch this film.
It's got a damning review put out on the poster.
It is. Because, there's no good plot, there's no great characters. This is a fully rounded story with a beginning, middle and end, but all of it doesn't amount to very much at all. Yeah,
especially at the very end, where the killer guy just kind of walks into a bit of thin ice and dies. It's the most anticlimactic climax I think I've seen in recent memory. And then it goes to a scene where Fassbender's in the cop room again, and it's like, oh, who's ready for another Harry Hole mystery? Because I'm not.
This film totally ends on this is going to run and run. And I'll tell you now, if this is not running, I mean, that is it. And ultimately, the problem with this film is it's a 4 out of 10. You know, it's not incompetently made. It just has no compelling reason to be watched over any other crime drama that's out there. Even crime TV, which there's a lot of good crime TV out there.
A lot of crime TV is a lot better than The Snowman.
This film would have been so much better had it been more silly. At least it would have been fun. It thinks that this is a serious film about mothers and sons and killers and abortion and fatherhood, and it isn't about any of those things. I feel like the blame is in the script, but just because of Thomas Alfredson's pedigree, in terms of the fact that he did let the right one in. He also directed Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. In terms of a complex, twisty, turny, double-crossing narrative, he's proven that he can do that. I can't see this very, very flat film being the obvious follow-up to those. So my only assumption is it was just a poor script. Maybe there was a bit of studio meddling. Maybe he just dropped the ball, and next time he'll pick it up and all will be well.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's fair. Also, Val Kilmer, his scenes just seemed to me to be really poorly looped as well. Like he'd redubbed all of them, and they were just so out of sync.
I think that's just how his face works. I just think the sounds just don't come out.
There's lag between the puppeteer and his face.
Yeah, certainly.
I've got one major plot annoyance that really bugged me.
Okay.
Fassbender is on the hunt. He's chasing down the killer in the remote log cabin for the finale. He's on the phone to the police guys. Firstly, they go, yes, we've got his phone signal. He's driving a red Volvo. That blew my mind.
Why was there that huge bit of exposition at the beginning about the fact that the police have these new police iPads?
Yeah, it was like a whole sort of 10-minute spiel.
Yeah, like advertising this new police software.
Was it product placement for like the new rugged iPad?
Like, it felt like someone had said, oh, but if they've got these touchscreen things, like people won't understand what that is. We've got to explain because no one. What is this in the future?
This worse iPad.
Yeah, I mean,
it looked like a Newton, but like a massive Newton from like 1980.
Bulletproof. Yeah, but no one would have minded if she just got out a Samsung tablet or something. And just with no explanation. Yeah, with
Yeah,
police
it's got
and we
fingerprint.
have...
I mean, everyone's seen Mission Impossible. When you just go, it's fingerprint nonsense.
So was that all set up for the finger-cutting fingerprint plot thread, which didn't need to happen anyway?
And was just one scene.
Yeah.
It was set up only to, like, delete footage from the camera that she placed in the room when she was killed.
You could just thrown it down a well.
Well, just
'Cause
like...
it wasn't uploaded. That was the point, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It hadn't uploaded yet.
Yeah. So she went into the room to trap him, put the thing in a hidden location, he kills her, takes her finger, uses it, deletes the footage. What the hell? It was needless.
And they made a point as well that to show a close-up of the screen saying not yet uploaded.
Yeah.
I think we could probably do a whole rant or whole episode on ways film directors don't understand cloud-based technology.
Yeah, so overall then, stinker.
Yeah, I mean, stinker seems harsh, but I actually think probably fair. As I said before, I can't think of a reason why you would watch it. It's certainly not the worst film I've ever seen by a long, long way, but it's so pedestrian, and yeah, you might as well just go and stick on any episode of Jonathan Creek, and you will have way more fun. I just don't see why this needs to exist.
If not to just chronicle the downfall of Val Kilmer.
Yeah, maybe it's worth it for that. Maybe just as a historical document. I was looking at that face and thought 20 years ago that was Batman.
Yeah, I would say go and see this film if you would like a 15-second advert for a new Sigur Rós album.
Yeah, good. That's a good bit. That good bit. It made me want to go and lay on a wooden floor and listen to Sigur Rós in Norway.
But nothing else.
No. Didn't make me want to watch another Harry Hole film. Harry Hole.
Yeah,
well.
awful name.
So when he was sitting there coming up with the shortlisting all my detective names,
Harry Hole.
Harry Hole was the one that he underlined twice.